The ritual of Senate courtesy calls began with an easy one, Republican leader Mitch McConnell.
I think the president made an outstanding nomination.
McConnell privately urged against Kavanaugh's nomination, arguing that his 25-year record in government would bog down the confirmation. Now considered most in play, the votes of Republican Senators Collins and Murkowski and Democrats Donnelly, Heitkamp, and Manchin. Kavanaugh did seem an unlikely choice, a loyal aide to George W. Bush, chosen by a president who frequently criticizes the Bushes. But this morning, no second thoughts.
Brett Kavanaugh has gotten rave reviews, actually from both sides.
Some conservatives lobbied against Kavanaugh, citing his dissent last year in a court battle involving a teenager arrested for illegally entering the U.S. who wanted to be released from detention to have an abortion. Kavanaugh said she had no right to an abortion on demand and could wait until she was released to a sponsor. His critics say he should have ruled that she had no right to an abortion because she's not a U.S. citizen and was here illegally. And in 2011, when the court upheld Obamacare, Kavanaugh dissented, saying a federal law prevented the court from deciding the case. His critics say he should have gone further and concluded that Obamacare was unconstitutional. But more strategic conservatives hope that by floating Kavanaugh's name as a possible nominee, Justice Kennedy would be more comfortable retiring if he thought he'd be succeeded by a former clerk. And some in Congress say the president believes he'll get yet another Supreme Court nomination anyway and decided to choose a judge this time who seemed to him to be more moderate. Kavanaugh's past suggests he wouldn't be on the extreme right.
Based on Judge Kavanaugh's long record, I think we can safely say that he's going to end up somewhere in the middle of the conservatives, not the farthest to the right.
And here's a picture from 25 years ago taken near where I'm standing outside the Supreme Court. That's Justice Kennedy and his law clerks in 1993, with Brett Kavanaugh next to him and Neil Gorsuch on the other end. If Kavanaugh gets confirmed, that would make history. Two former clerks of the same justice serving on the court together.
Hey, NBC News fans, thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking on that button down here and click on any of the videos over here to watch the latest interviews, show highlights, and digital exclusives. Thanks for watching.